Hi folks, today I'd like to do a review of the AGI. It's a dripper. It can be used as a dripper and in tank as a Genesis. It comes with pack with all your bits and pieces in. I'm going to do this as a wire mesh, and then we'll give it a try, and then I'll break it down and do it as a dripper. Okay, let's have a look and see what's in the packet. Right, that's the instruction booklet that comes with it. It's fairly straightforward. Turn it over. So that's your instruction booklet. We'll get rid of that. Your empty box, your packing so that you don't knock and bang about. And there it is. There you go. A small spring, you can I have seen them being replaced with a needle from a syringe, but I'm just going to leave it as standard and just build it up as per the instructions. So we'll assemble the tank in the centre, pop the centre in, tank, the small spring that goes onto the post, now the tank, and there you go. Now on the top there you've got holes to set it with mesh and a post so that you can set it up with silica, and a filling hole, negative, positive, negative, and underneath you've got two blanked off holes, but you do get the Allen key to take them out. It's got the seal on which goes onto the tank, but it's got the 510 connector, so it can be used just as a dripper. Screwed straight on, and use it as a dripper. I'll build it back up. And use it as a Genesis. I'll line the holes up roughly. I need to lubricate the O-ring before I push it fully down, but we'll make a start. We'll get the mesh out and we'll roll the mesh. Right, what comes in the box is a piece of stainless steel mesh. You've got a piece of silica, you've the Allen key, you've a tank, a glass, where the glass tank mounts in the bottom, and there a spare O-ring, two lid spare O-rings that fit there. You've two spare centre springs that go in there. I've removed the 2 grub screws because I need that for the wick hole, and I need that one to fill it with juice, but you get a spare grub screw and a spare positive screw. Right, so we'll make a start on the mesh. Right, first of all I'm going to do is just gently torch the stainless, just to get any loose threads and things. I'm using rather a big blowtorch, so I might go out of shot doing it, but I'm only going to do it gently. That's all I needed, just a gentle. It's taken all the little burrs off. So now I just get the mesh, just make a tiny fold in it, and then just start rolling it up. For the beginning we don't, we're just rolling it up roughly like what we need, and then we'll turn it around and we'll start tightening it up. Work from the middle out. You can feel it starting to tighten up. You only roll it in one direction. Try and work outwards from the middle. You're not trying to crush it, you're just trying to gently make it tighten up on itself. I'm trying to leave it so that it's like a straw in the centre. You can always, if you go too far with it, too tight, you can always unroll it by rolling it the opposite direction, and it'll loosen itself off. It's still quite flexible now since I just slightly annealed it. It's working its way down slowly. Like I say, it just takes a few minutes of patience to try and make it somewhere near. Now that's quite a bit off yet, so getting quite close. Just a little bit more. some reason it's not fitting through that one. I think there's a slight burr at the bottom of the hole, because that one, it fits straight through, plenty of room. It just feels a bit tight there. So I'll just go and inspect the bottom and see if there's just a burr. I think there's just a slight burr on there. Be back in a second. Yes, there was a tiny burr in the just on the end of the hole. So now that I've wrapped it, it's quite loose in there, so I'm just going to unwrap it a little bit. There we go. So we're going to give it another flaming to carbonise it, and then we'll assemble it and coil it. So I'm just going to get it glowing red. And that should be carbonised enough. We'll give it a try and see if it pops a coil, and I'll burn it with juice, but that should really work. So what we'll do is we'll assemble the tank. That's tightish but not over tight. We'll drop the wick in. So we know that we need to trim the top of the wick, but just for the time being we'll just leave it as it is. We'll undo the screws and we'll have a look at seeing about wicking it up. Okay. Right, what I've got now is just a piece of canthal. I think this is what they call 30 AWR. I'm not AWG, I'm not 100% certain, but we'll just flame this to make it easier to coil. Right, now I've undone the two screws. It does have a dripping well, a recess here, so it is a little bit awkward to get the wire underneath, but you should be able to fit it under. I'll put a small kink in, and then I can push it down, and we'll take the wick out and we'll pop it across the hole, and we'll tighten that down, not fully tight but just enough to nip it. Then we'll pop the coil back in, the wick back in. It's just touching the bottom, and what we'll do is we'll start wrapping. And what I like to do is, as I start wrapping, I'll pull it down roughly to where I want it, give it a slight tug, then on to the next. As you can see, there's far too much space between there, so what we do is at the back side we'll just push the coils down, wrap it around again, we'll take that coil down, and I've got the 4 wraps I require. Pop it through the positive. Let's give it a gentle nip, and then we can inspect the coil. I always put a slight lean on the wick to close the distance down between the post, because you tend to get quite a few hot spots there. I'll just get myself a tiny screwdriver, and I'll just move the coils around. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. So what we'll do now is we'll pop it on the Pro Vary and see what we get. I like between 1.3 and 1.5. So it's coming out at 1.8, so we need to just adjust that. Right, so we'll just see what that looks like. That's better. Oh, error reading. Let's try it on something a little easier. Oh, try another one. Might just need to adjust the centre post for the others. I'll give this a try, see whether it works with this. So we still need to adjust it ever so slightly. I don't think there's a great deal of charging the battery at the minute. We seem to have a hotter coil at the top. Seems very slow. Still hot in the middle. Right, we'll chop the wick off, pop some juice in and go for a vape. Just like a straw top. Just allow a little bit through the centre and can always remove a coil off, but we'll try it for taste first. So we'll pop a bit of juice on the coil, on the wick, and we'll fill the tank up. This is vanilla custard that I'm using at the minute. It's a 50-50 and it's 16 milligrams. So we'll just pop a tiny bit of juice to lubricate both the rings. Then we'll line the hole up and move it slightly. We'll pop a stainless steel drip tip on. Let's just give that a try now. Firing quite the thing. Right, we'll zoom the camera back up and we'll pop and have a vape. Right, I've got an array of different devices to try it on. It wasn't firing on the Pro Vari because it had some juice in the on the pin. I'll show you the resistance on it now. Sorry. I thought it would be 1315. That's usually what they come out at with the 4 apps. I've also got Wizard. I've got a Wizard's Apprentice, Sigeli 19 and a hybrid. I've used a drip tip from the hybrid, that's a hybrid tank, and I've just a standard mechanical mod as well. So we'll go for a vape on the Pro Vari. Vape's lovely. The flavours are not fully up to par at the minute, but I do have the Pro Veri usually quite low down on the voltage. So what we'll do is we'll pop it onto the Wizard's Apprentice. Now this is stainless steel, it's an 18350. Just to show you the Pro Veri, sorry, the Wizard's Apprentice is quite a bit smaller than the device I'm plugging it into. And now the battery that I'm using in this, I've been using it, I used it most of yesterday afternoon and all this morning so far. It's now 10 to 4 in the afternoon, so I've had nearly a full day out of it so far. Yep, very nice. So we'll try it on the Wizard. That's the titanium 18650. This one, it's not far off lining up the wick hole with the firing button. This one has a fully charged battery. I only used it for a few minutes yesterday. The flavour's coming through a lot more now. Like I say, this is virtually a new battery, it's just had a little bit taken out of the top of it. We'll pop it onto a Geni 19 and it's got one of the very old batteries out of one of my lava tubes, and it's not very good. It's I've been using it for a few days. It fires every time when it's playing ball. I've cleaned the contacts today. Yeah, the mesh is bedding in nicely in the coil. The flavour's coming through more and more now. It's a Geni 19. That's in 18350 mode. Like I say, it's one of the very old batteries. So I'll just we'll pop it onto the hybrid. Now on most of the devices it fits flush. The Geni 19, it actually leaves quite a big gap, but that's one of the hybrids, and that's its original tank that came with it. It's unbranded. The air holes look to be virtually the same. That one's filled with absinthe, and like I say, this is my vanilla custard. So we'll unlock it. $18,350, $18,650. It works a treat on all the mods that I'm using. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. In Genesis, it's quite a good little device. I need to try it on dripping mode, because I believe that they have problems with it leaking underneath, but I know the two grub screws I've taken out, do blank off at the end, so I will try it in dripping mode. The only problem I had, there was just a burr in the bottom of one of the holes. Popped the burr out and no problems. It's not a long process to wick one and coil one. Once you've made a wick, you're not going to be changing that every 2 minutes. What I tend to find out is when they start to go caramelised, they start to pick up a bit of taste, and I just pop it in some boiling water for a couple of minutes and swirl it around, give it a quick flame, and the mesh is ready. Away go again. Thanks for watching.